because I feel like, I mean, their whole business is a dev tool and a dev service.
Uh-huh.
And so like what is their intention with this like social protocol? That's what
Yeah.
I have a hard time understanding, because I understand selling your protocol to the team that's using it the most, but like what is the utility?
Yeah, I think of it I think of it in the sense of like, you know how sometimes when you have something very abstract, like
Yeah.
technology wise, so like Snapchain, the protocol, like decentralized social, which might be clear to us, like very because we're deep in crypto, like it might be clear as the sky, like why we need decentralized social. Um, and like how powerful it is. But sometimes I feel like you sort of need that tool. It's kind of like the client, everyone's like the main client is Farcaster app. Um, Sometimes you sort of need to like develop that product yourself just to show like the power and the capability of the underlying technology. Um,
Mm.
so like you said, there's synergies between like selling it to like the infrastructure, like the main infrastructure player. But yeah, it is a little weird, I think on one hand, I think they're gonna have to show, like, new use cases, like, they'll have to be at the forefront of that to
Which
get
is tough,
people.
because like what are the use cases in social right now? Like I feel like we've just seen like crypto social crumble.
I know. Yeah, it's kinda nuts. Yeah,
It's
everyone's back on X. Nikita
right.
Beer is making changes that some people are happy with, some people aren't. We attacked the Claude bot guy, Peter, like, all of crypto, and he hated crypto for, like, a hot he still kinda probably does.
That was really sad to see on the interview where he was just like, "Oh, I like almost considered like shutting this whole thing down."
Oh my
It was just
goodness,
like,
dude. Absolutely insane. Like, way to like bombard this person so much and make it so unpleasant to the
yeah,
point where the guy thought about shutting it down. And on top of that, he got acquired for like, like $1 billion. Like, I'm glad he didn't.
it's
But
insane.
absolutely nuts.
Absolutely nuts. Yeah, it's just it's a weird time. Wait, so what's this story around forking? Like if it is forked, are people just
Uh-huh.
gonna exit this current Nanar version and just join the
Yeah.
other?
So the idea is kind of like
What?
they're
Okay.
talking about like obviously like there'll be parity at the beginning because there won't be much difference between the forked version and the non-forked version.
Yeah.
Um so like it'll be backwards compatible, everything will kind of work, but then yeah, like as they continue diverging at some point, users will have to start making a decision like is the Farcaster protocol that I want to use like the forked version? Am I using Bitcoin Cash or am I using the OG
Right.
Bitcoin?
Right. Easy classic. And I think it's hard. Like I used to work at Celestia, and a lot of the this was like a long time ago, but a lot of like this initial like thinking around the protocol was like you should have the freedom to fork, and that's like a very welcome thing to do. And I think forking works really well in practice with software, where maybe you have an app and you're forking it and just changing it up and putting something else out. And I think that's great. I think the way that it works in code makes a ton of sense. I think when you have a community or like a human abstraction around it, it gets really murky and tricky. And so, yeah, I kind of curious to see how that goes, because I think for social protocols, it's very different. It is code, but there's a human element to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I think most forks tend to be, at least in Web 2, they tend to be like the project's abandoned and then, someone forks
Right.
it and then works on it and then brings it back to life.
Sushi comes to mind.
Um, yeah, exactly. But yeah, like with social, it's like hard. Like I mean, it even happened like early on, like we had Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and then there was like BSV, and like it just kept getting further and further. Like I remember by the time I got my BSV airdrop,
Oh,
I was like, I don't even know what the hell this is. Like I don't even know what's going on. Like I just know the only two things I knew were Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Those were like the only
yeah.
two things I knew.
Right.
And I think there's even more derivatives even past that, but like your brain just doesn't like go past it. Essentially, you're
Right.
just like,
The human element, like it really prevents you from like even going there. Versus I think with code, if you're forking an example or something and forking it and making your own, putting your own spin on it, I think code is meant to handle that sort of
mhm.
forking and that sort of tree. Wait, so what's going on with like all these like tokens that were deployed on the Farcaster protocol? Like degen, like yeah, what's
They're all still alive. They're all still. A lot of them are still Clanker based, but I don't know if you saw like the Clanker
yeah.
Banker beef, like not beef,
Oh,
but
I
like
didn't see the beef. Oh, there's beef.
they
Okay.
technically forked that too. There was like a fork of that. So Banker, which is like that AI agent token, which
Yeah, yeah, of
like
course.
went up to like 100. Yeah, so those guys, um, I think they were like the highest or one of the highest. I'm pretty sure they were the highest volume
Token on.
Clanker token.
Yeah. Mm.
And so they were like handing over like I don't even know how many bips it was, but they were handing over a decent percentage of the revenue or the fees that they were collecting to Clanker, and Clanker and everything else was kind of not
Important.
doing well as a launchpad.
Yeah.
And launchpad businesses are super duper hard, as you know.
So
Same
hard.
with wallets and like infrastructure in general. um,
Well, you know what? I feel like anyone that's in the wallet game though, like every single wallet company has like a really good team and a really good
uh,
founder. Like I respect everyone in the wallet game, and like everyone's actually like pretty decent human as well. It's hard with like the launchpad game because I feel like a lot of it is like anonymous. Like you just don't know who these founders are, and sometimes they're around, sometimes they're not. It's just yeah. But I guess I'm not in the launchpad business, so to me it's just such a black box that I'm like, oh my god, I could never be in the launchpad business.
yeah, yeah. And like people try and do different things, like some people do like permission launches. Like you have to get
Yeah,
permission from like the and other, and then most of them do permissionless because they're going for like
long.
not quality, but like just straight quantity, and like let's launch like 1,000 of these. We don't care.
Right. It's just all yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
the tokens, to answer your question, like all the tokens are still like supported and everything. Like they're not
right. Okay.
broken or anything of that nature. But yeah, like the biggest thing just being that Banker kind of forked themselves
Right.
away from Clanker, which is like
Clinker.
the yeah.
Mm.
And Clanker got acquired by Merkle, and now the team got. I don't know if they split up or they stayed. I honestly I lost track of like who stayed and
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Same.
who's at Tempo and who's still
Right.
who's
You know
at
what I mean?
Nanar, but
We literally were right about the tempo thing. We were just like
yeah, I know.
shooting the shit a few weeks ago and nailed that on the head. That's insane. Yeah, it's just there's just so much. Oh, you were at Eat Denver last week, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we
Really,
could talk about a little bit of that if you want to.
yeah, it was just really interesting. Like the sentiment of the crypto native people was very much like crypto's over, it's done. Like, the sentiment was a little strange, but with fintechs and institutions, the sentiment was very much like this is the beginning. Like all the institutions and fintechs had sent their crypto people to it, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
that is.
yeah, and so it was like earmarked as a conference to go to, which I found fascinating. Um, yeah, and so there was just a clear divide. It was also much smaller than years prior.
Yeah. I haven't been I'd never been prior.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know why, for whatever reason I had never been. I'm not the biggest fan of Denver. No offense to Denver.
Yeah.
Um so I never had gone. So I had zero like preconceived notions. Like I didn't know if it was like the only thing I was comparing it to was Dev Connect, since we
Okay.
we met each other there, and I was like, wow, like that was really cool. Obviously it's like another foreign country, so that was really cool too. Super far journey, but overall, yeah, like it's interesting. So like Dev Connect to me felt like very much a ETH conference. This
Yeah.
one's called ETH Denver, but it was like there was a lot of not ETH things there, which I'm
Wait,
also okay with. Like I'm not
like what's an example of that? That's interesting that you felt that way.
like there was some Dogecoin stuff. There was like some
Oh yeah, that's right. Doge OS or whatever.
Yeah, Dojo. Yeah, that's
Right, right.
Dogecoin. I mean, it's cool. I like the memetics of Doge, and I think Doge can make a comeback. No, not financial advice there, but
Mhm.
yeah, and as someone is like that's not like ETH Maxi. Like I'm okay with like the Stacks team was there, which is a BTC
Sure.
L2. Who else was there? I mean, there was like a bunch of chains I had seen but never
Yeah,
like
there
really
were some.
dove in.
That's true. There were chain booths. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a fair point. Huh.
So it was just like a little odd that it was called like ETH Denver, but it's like other. So I could see where people come from that perspective. But overall, you know, I was like, as a crypto person, I was like, I just like the tech. I believe in the
Yeah,
tech. I'm okay uh,
with that.
with other. But yeah, that's interesting to know that like traditional Web2 companies were sending people there. You know.
Yeah, which I found fascinating. And I mean, a lot. I was only there for 48 hours. I've usually gone for longer, but it was quick, like in and out. Did the talks, did the meetings, and left. But yeah, sentiment. It's interesting. We were just talking about this before the recording kicked off, but it's really like you're working on stablecoins and money movement, or I don't really know what other people are working on in crypto anymore.
AI. I think AI is like a
Crypto and
pretty
AI,
big
yeah,
thing.
it's true.
Yeah, crypto and AI. I feel like that's where like the amount of convergence between crypto and AI is pretty big, but it's always been kind of big, um, in my opinion. Like,
But the grift is like it used to be kind of grifty before if you were doing like crypto and AI, and now there's just if you look at Moltbook and some of these other platforms, like the use case for why agents need crypto is so clear. So
yeah,
it feels less grifty to be working on the intersection of the two.
yeah, exactly. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, let's jump into it. I mean, I know we kind of jumped into it already, but I kind
No,
of
no,
want to
no,
make sure I want to highlight what you guys are working on and kind of how you guys. Some of the questions are actually regarding like AI and the Pair wallet and how you guys see yourself fitting into that equation. But um, yeah, let's start off with a quick intro, even though we've dove into it. So your
yeah,
name's Aditi. What do you do at a Parawallet for those that
yeah.
aren't familiar with you?
Yep. I started off as a founding team member in late 2022. So it's been 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been quite the ride, which is fun. But I now head up all things business. It's kind of a role that encompasses everything from like early market definition and pricing to now scaling up what is our like go to market function and a little bit of sales as well. And the thing that's been like the most crazy thing to see is like wallets are now so we were just talking about this like wallets are so boring now, but like they're just like it's like oh you're building a wallet okay fine, but when we started out wallets were kind of this like new thing that there were maybe like MetaMask and some of these like consumer wallets, but there wasn't really the tech for like the abstractions on top of wallets had just happened in like 2022. Like there was just some
Hmm.
like seminal like foundational papers that had come out around then. And so it was still kind of like strange to be building a wallet SDK or like there was less of a awareness around wallets being this thing that could be like a developer tool versus like a consumer tool.
Hmm.
Um, so 4 years, we're now 10 and yeah, we're all in person in SF. I'm sitting in our office right now. It's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And or it's about to be 8 p.m. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But that's me.
What were you doing before Web3, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I've worked in fintech. Quickly finding crypto was like a big part of that, though. I started in crypto in like 2017. So um, around then, there was really no way to build products on chain. But I kind of found Consensus, which was the only company doing product at the time,
Yeah.
which was interesting to me. And like it was, I think it was pure luck, but ended up working there. And that was kind of my first crypto gig. Um, Fintech was interesting because I think a lot of the ways that things like money movement were being thought about were still managed and still are managed through things like, bank A needs to communicate with bank B. We need to facilitate how transactions are settled. Wait 3 days plus the weekend for things to fully iron out. I think at the time I was excited about something more efficient than that current system.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see that like those systems are being iterated on today. And a lot of the time, like I would think like, why aren't we just doing this and die at the time?
Yeah.
And so what's cool now is a lot of those use cases are being worked on in the space. I do think like we're seeing the rollout be like the rollout is still kind of limited in a way. Like there's a lot, like for example, like we talk a lot about like stablecoin cards, but a lot of that is like an abstraction on top of normal financial rails.
Mhm.
Like it's still like these stablecoin cards are still operating in the Visa network, but like people are able to spend from like a stablecoin balance.
Yeah, correct.
Because I think we're seeing like things slowly happen, but it's cool to
Yeah.
see that it's very much materializing now.
Yeah. It's also interesting to see like the appetite. I mean, it's great. The appetite that some of the fintech companies have, like
Yeah,
traditional fintech companies have with crypto. Like you could tell like Robinhood's like chomping at the bit to like
yeah, to do.
dive in head first, like everything crypto, and they're like embracing it really hardcore.
And like what we're finding is like there's like a couple layers of the stack that they're trying to navigate. A lot of these companies are trying to navigate. It's like, what chain do I deploy on? And there's like
Mhm.
a variety of chains that are considered in that set. How do I do money movement? So this is like, how do I do on and off ramping in a really effective way? Where are the funds sitting? So this is like, what wallet am I using? Like how are funds moving in and out of crypto rails through a
Mhm.
wallet? And then usually there's some element of like stablecoin issuance
Yeah.
also involved. And that's like, am I issuing my own stablecoin? Who's managing that? Who's managing the like one-to-one relationship between like stablecoin and reserves? Um, who's making sure that this is like done in a compliant way? Like
Yeah.
those, and I don't think like that was the decision tree in like 2016, 2015, because there was always
Mm.
like blockchain and banking, but it was the use cases like I would hear of more were like supply chain with blockchain or like just like vague, like kind of
Yeah,
vague,
yeah, exactly.
right? Like vague use cases. But now it's kind of interesting. Like the decisions are kind of bucketed out into these like four categories.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like as uh the players that are doing well are the ones that have kind of uh I guess I don't know if abstract is the right word, but made it simpler for like larger institutions, like I think of like M0 who does stable coins, you could be like, do I do that myself? And
Yep.
then you start reading and you start thinking about it, why you're like, wow, this is actually there's a lot to think about here. And then it's like, and
Yep.
then you have an M0 that can just let you put your name on it, like a branded,
Yeah.
white label version of a stable coin, and they
And there's
work
like
nicely.
there's a whole spectrum of those, right? There's like M0, there's Braille, there's
Hmm.
Paxos, there's all these different providers, and they all kind of, I think their spectrum, their like matrix is ease of use, like white label ability, and
Hmm.
I think there's a an axis for compliance
Yeah.
and like genius compliance, and so like it's interesting. It's just like that's what we see in stablecoin world. In wallet world, we're seeing like there is a slider on like how bundled is this offering. Um, so this is like, are you just a wallet SDK? Are you also on ramps? Are you also like adding in like liquidity routing and like money movement? Like, what is the sliding scale on bundleability? Um, and I think that's been a really interesting like shift for us to navigate because now we're just a lot more focused on like partnerships and like strategic partnerships and like bundling as much as possible. Because a lot of these fintechs like don't want to have to make like 50,000 decisions. They want to have like one decision and like have it do multiple things.
Yeah, yeah. Because I guess like one of the issues with like composability is like you could either be like you said, like on the axis, you could be like a freak and you want to control absolutely every single decision, but then you're like, just to launch, you're like, okay, like do all these things even work together or play
Yeah.
nicely together, or is it um I get, and it's two ways too, it's like ease on them, it's also ease on like their users as well, it's like cool,
Totally.
like we like enabled it so like you can sign up with an email address and now you have a wallet, but like now the user's stuck trying to figure out how to like load that wallet with
Yeah, like
money
how do
or
I fund my wallet? And like, yeah, I think we're now realizing like the ability, like making sure that the barrier of adding funds to a wallet is like making sure that's as easy as possible is actually under our like mandate of like what we do now. Like, of course, like making the wallet creation easy is like part of it, and like that's the main business that we have. But now it's just like, okay, like these wallets need to be useful, and so a lot of like the foundational principles for how like Para was started is like, okay, if someone's loaded a balance into their wallet, let's just make that balance reusable in other places.
Mhm.
um because it's work to like on ramp like $5 from MoonPay, or like they have a minimum balance, so like $15 from MoonPay.
Yeah, and they take a fat fee.
The fee, right? And then you have to KYC. And also if you're KYCing like and you're just KYCing to like try out a little crypto app, like that doesn't make any sense. Like why should you have to KYC to try out an app for $15? And so like a lot of like the assumptions around Para was like, how do we make the balance as useful as possible from different places, which has allowed us to like work with some really interesting partners that similarly value that. So like ENS is one where, yeah, if you're like creating a name and like have a handle on ENS, like let's just have that identity be reusable in other places.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I agree. I think that composability axes is really different as you graduate to like different kinds of users and different kinds of customers,
Yeah.
which has been an interesting shift for us.
I know what was great about learning about you guys, was well, I think two things. So I had heard about you guys before the Dev Connect Buenos Aires like news.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had heard about you guys before then. Yeah, because I
Oh,
remember
okay.
I was telling you I was like on that rabbit hole of like looking for. I was tired of like
Yeah.
having
Yes.
multiple wallets in every app, and I was like, is there
Spreadsheet.
just yeah, it was getting kind of ridiculous, because like I was playing what was it? There was Friend Tech.
Yeah.
I was playing so many games and trying a bunch of different apps because it's kind of like in my nature to do that. And I was like, by the end of it, I had like 16 privy wallets, and I was like, man, this is a lot to manage because with ENS, like it made it so I only had one wallet, like I
Mm.
only have to memorize one thing, which is gramajo.eth. Like that's it. And like, yeah, you can build like, subdomains within that. I can have multiple wallets, but overall, like the branding or the name is still gramajo.eth. And I was like, there has to be someone else doing something that's like you said, like uh making like an easy wallet, but it's also like portable. Like I could take it everywhere, but like I could sign in with a passkey or I could sign in with an email. And then that's how I found out about you guys. So when I saw the
Ah,
Dev
type.
Connect announcement, I was like, oh, that's awesome that they're
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, it's like we found that that set of features tends to resonate with, yeah, like it resonates a lot with folks that are trying to have this like one identity everywhere. And so like we have customers that'll also just white label Para entirely. So like we have ecosystems that instead of saying like sign in with Para, they'll just say like sign in with like ecosystem name. So like sign in with Vana, sign in with Miden. Like they'll just white label it as their own OAuth and then distribute that to all their apps. So that way, like if I'm a user of an app in the ENS ecosystem, I'm just signing in with ENS. I don't really give a shit that it's Para or like this SDK powering it, which
Hmm.
we think is really powerful. But it also has manifested with payments apps because of this like funding problem where it's like, yes, if you've on ramped some amount of money into these wallets, like have it be reusable in other places. And so
Yeah.
there's like four kind of categories that we see of payments teams. One is like anyone doing stablecoin payments and money movement. So this is like Confetti, which is formerly known as Joke Race, but they do a lot of pay-ins and payouts via stables for contests. And so you can run like they ran a
Yeah.
contest to change their name, like their company name,
Oh, I
and
didn't realize Joke Race renamed to
they're Confetti
Confetti.
now. Literally via a contest. Yeah. So via
That's
a contest,
is Joke Race fashion.
yeah, they're great. We're such big fans of what they're building. But like, yeah, you can like contribute to these campaigns via stables, via crypto, and then get paid out if you win. And so all of that is facilitated through Pararails. Another one is Juicebox with the Constitution DAO
Yeah, I
fundraise.
love Juicebox.
They're hype. And yeah, same thing. They're doing contributions around the world. I think they also recently did the Roman Storm campaign, founder of Tornado Cash. But all of that was facilitated through stables. So those are that's like category one. Category two that we see again, where it's like the balance is like being reused in a way is cross-border remittances. So we have a team that's doing P2P payments on WhatsApp. So you don't even have to like create a wallet. You just like text on WhatsApp and you send payments back and forth, and they have a bot built into WhatsApp. And so they're specifically doing remittances from Nigeria, within Nigeria, and also Nigeria and the Nigerian diaspora. And so all of that is headless. But like if you're sending money to your grandmother in Nigeria and she has, funds in her wallet, let's have those funds be reusable in another place instead of needing her to export her private key.
Yeah, like because the alternative would be like she has a wallet that's just associated with her WhatsApp, and then it's like that's not her main wallet that she
It's like,
spends out of.
oh,
So now she has to like send it out. Like,
it's just like, yeah. So exactly. So, and we found like that exporting private key step can really just break a lot of the like, UX. And like a lot of people don't even do it.
yeah, that's
Why?
true.
It's just like, oh yeah. So that, and then so that's kind of like use case number two. Use case number three is all things embedded finance. So this is like, this is like classic fintech in the front, DeFi in the back. So I have like a rewards app and I'm just showing a balance to my users, but in reality, that balance is being held within stables and is earning yield. That's like classic embedded finance. So like we have a customer that's doing loyalty on Solana at like brick and mortar stores in SF. So if you are spending at one of these stores in SF, you're earning loyalty, but really in the background, that balance is earning yield and rewards on top of it. And so there's kind of use cases like that get us really excited because again, like that in those cases, if you have some sort of like embedded finance setup, that balance needs to be useful in another context. You're earning rewards, presumably for it to be used somewhere else.
Correct.
Right. And so like that's another category. And then like we see a lot around trading and asset management. So like RWA is like classic kind of like trading style use cases. And now we're also like, this is more of an emergent use case. So I'm like hesitant to call it out on its own, but everything like agentic commerce is sexy right now. So we hear a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people like build agents with us, but now it's like, oh, I have a set of merchants and these merchants need to be able to do agentic commerce and like they need a notion of shared identity that interacts with these different like merchants. And so like, how do you do that in a way that that identity is consistent? Something I talk about a lot with X402 is if you have a wallet that is interacting with an X402 server, you want that wallet to be able to talk to multiple servers instead of needing to export the private key and manage it in different ways. And so we're just seeing a lot around agentic commerce as well. But I'd say like that's a more emergent use case.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right, lots of talking.
No, you're good. No, I love the I feel like people like it's like the hidden infrastructure. I feel like I mean, unless you're probably building a wallet or you're thinking about maybe building one, you're probably not thinking about wallets this often. So it's nice to
Right.
hear.
Wallets are boring. They're so boring.
Exactly. People don't talk about it,
Like,
you know. Maybe
some
they do, you know. Like I've seen some cool, interesting wallets pop up recently. Like,
somebody at ETH Denver was like, "Oh, stablecoins are so boring," and I was like, "You know what? But that's on a panel with me," and I was like, "Yeah, but that's great. Like, I'd rather have a boring use case that works than an exciting use case makes sense, but sometimes like they're exciting because they're scary or the risks are unknown. And in this case, like it's so nice to have a mature crypto technology that is boring. That's great. That
yeah,
means it
boring's
works.
good. Boring makes money.
Well, yeah,
That's what
boring
people
makes
don't know.
money.
Boring makes billions, and then
It
you know,
makes
I the crazy ideas is what makes raising better. You know.
right. That's I saw an interesting tweet um the other day, which was like crypto the people that allocated capital in crypto are the ones to be blamed because a lot of but I guess I can't, you know, the incentives are everything. And I think like the incentives for investors is if there's a chain to do the chain because the chain is going to have a token associated with it. And that economic model is just so predictable.
Yes.
I can't even, you know, who knows, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Do you? Yeah. So it's interesting. Like an observation that came up now in my head as you were talking about like agents and all that. And the ENS example because like I really like I like the ENS team and what they're doing. Again, it's boring. Like it really is, you know, like cool, you named your wallet. You know, they're obviously doing way more. Like I joined the ENS governance calls and I vote in
Oh,
ENS.
cool.
I really do like ENS. I think they have like a strong position to be the thing that people have no clue. It's like crypto maybe, but but
Mhm.
they can make it the crossover to web 2 like pretty seamlessly tech wise. So I'm bullish on ENS, but something that stood out to me as you were talking about it was I've been working with the Inscribe team, which is like naming your smart
Oh yeah.
contracts. And
Uh-huh.
something we've talked about in the past with them was like, I was like, yeah, you should name your agent. Like we all give them names and it should have like its own ENS and its own identity. And kind of what you were saying, where it's like with X402, like you don't want to be exporting keys, you know, just so you can work with that agent. Like you want to build up that actual reputation there and
Yeah.
it should be portable like everywhere.
Well, I talk about this a lot where yes, like a wallet is your assets, but a wallet is also your identity
Hmm.
and that is your transaction history and it's your POAPs and the apps you've connected to and signed a message in. It's all that kind of soft stuff that and it's not so obviously like these are all transactions on chain or some that have some sort of on chain footprint, but it's that I think actually gives more context to a protocol about who a user is than just an asset and a balance. And there's some interesting stuff around EIP 8004.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're following. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's like some coordination around like how do you create a registry of agents? And I think those are I don't know. Like we'll see how that'll work in practice, but that's just a really hard problem to solve. And like we've been trying to solve like registry of users and like registry of identity for so long, and it's just like it's the what is it called in YC? There's a concept of like tar pit ideas. I might be getting the exact verbiage wrong, but it's like hot ideas that everybody wants to solve, but they're just like so freaking hard to crack. Like
Yeah.
an example of this is like everybody wants to build a better dating app, but like that shit is so hard. And like you're gonna fail. Or like it's just like it's gonna be hard. There's like some other the other classic idea is like building an app where you can hang out with your like local friends, like meet up and do stuff. Such a hard thing to crack.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, okay, that's interesting. Um, Yeah, 8004 is really cool. I know they're even doing like I'm forgetting the number of the project, but it kind of talks about like
Trustless
you can
agent.
say like, you know, here's my ENS, like my top name, and then you can have all the wallets that you're associated with it, like everything. You can like link it and it's like a tree and it shows every wallet that like you essentially own, which I'm forgetting what ENS project that is, but
Yeah,
yeah, ENS is doing a bunch of crazy stuff that I like. So
I'm looking at this like trustless agents thing. Interesting. Oh yeah, MetaMask seems like Coinbase and the EF have been working on it.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a challenge part, like a challenging part, the reputation side of things. Like there are use cases where maybe you want to silo your users completely, and you don't want them to be having this one identity everywhere. And I think there are like obviously we enable that. You can create siloed wallets as well, but
Hmm.
like there needs to be flexibility in that because sometimes like maybe you don't want your identity and assets to translate in another place. And like that's a fair point. I certainly have identity that does not like move with me in other places. Like I have, store specific credit cards that I'm just like, okay, this is just for like Gap and Banana Republic, and like that's it.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
but I think like flexibility to have a user graduate through that funnel is really important. And it's like it's we've built for that in mind. But it's tricky. It's definitely tricky.
Yeah. I had a random question for you.
Yeah.
And you could also not answer if you don't want, but like in terms of like the idea or the premise of build making it like removing the friction to build a wallet, but also then once it's funded, also being able to use that wallet like in as
Yeah.
multiple places as possible. Has anyone thought about that using it anywhere equating to like a card also?
Mm.
So like a pair wallet, but it's also connected to a card to spend
Of
like in
course. I
real
mean,
life.
like that's like that's the vision, right? Like
Mm,
I guess like something we've like had we're trying to there's always this tension of like these are like our customers are apps and these users are our customers users, and at
hmm.
what point do you flip the switch on being a little bit more user driven? And I think
Hmm.
every wallet company faces that a little bit, that tension, especially if you're like a dev tool where your customer is actually like these businesses, they're the ones paying you.
Yeah.
But now you have this user base, and like, can you empower the user base to do more on chain and spend or register an ENS name like that? Like, these are the sorts of things that I think could be really valuable. We have some early version of that with it's an app called ParaConnect, and it's like you manage your security settings out of it, you manage your recovery settings, and like it's pretty basic now, but you can also do things like manage your auth methods, and like there's a little bit of configurability there. But I think that's the tension where it's like, yeah, at what point do you like ding the user on the head with more utility beyond just like doing things in crypto apps? Because I agree, I think we're at a stage now where like you can spend from a card, you can earn yield, you can um, maybe have different accounts for different things. Like maybe you have the notion of a savings account, maybe it's a checking
Hmm.
account. Like there is, yeah, you can do that. I haven't, I haven't like looked into the latest on all the different sorts of like stablecoin spending apps. Like I know there's Fuse and there's a couple others that people really like that have cards attached to them. Tuyo is also another one that people really
Yeah,
like.
Duo's big.
Yeah, but I haven't.
The rain cards are getting popular. They're out here
Yep.
in SF.
No, Rain's not an SF, aren't
They're
they?
not. I think I'm getting confused because they have an event in SF. I think that's what's throwing me off. Like in like a week or two, they have an event
Oh
in San
yeah, that's right.
Francisco.
Yeah. But they're in New York. But they have
Okay, yeah, I think that might be throwing me off. It's yeah.
yeah. But yes, they're in the Visa network and they're
Hmm.
definitely crushing it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that's the it's like all parts of the stack are very much coming together, and it's
Mhm.
cool to see how exactly it's being pieced together. And I think like that's, yeah, we're excited to obviously.
Yeah, I think going back to your earlier comment, how you have like a Gap card or a Target card, and even within the Web two, like the Web two traditional world, we've seen some of these cards even like uh change the incentive, so you're not just using your Hyatt card only at Hyatt, you're also using it
Yeah,
like outside of it. I'm trying to think of another example that might
that
be.
that's like what I that's where I get to with businesses and moats. Like
Hmm.
eventually, like of course you have your own business, but if you look at any successful brand, their surface area grows because they're trying to get broader utility out of their brand. And
Yeah.
so, I think of crypto as well, where in like when like roll ups and all and the like chain proliferation was happening, you had somebody launch an app, the app get a lot of volume, and then all of a sudden the app was like, oh, I want to launch a chain. This happened with DYDX, right? Where
Yeah.
they had an app, they had volume, and then they were like, oh, we're gonna do like this chain. And like that's the decision now because we can control more of our destiny.
Hmm.
And I think that inspired not only a chain, but it also inspired them to like do more in their ecosystem, work with, they have like what they had like a big MetaMask partnership. So
Yeah.
MetaMask interact with UIDX, like whatever, like their footprint expanded as a function of that. And this happens in Web 2 as well, where yeah, you have like Hyatt. Hyatt does really well, gets a lot of volume. They issue a financial product, and then all of a sudden, like that financial product has broader utility in other places. And so, like,
Correct.
I think composability is the name of the game and happens in all successful businesses because it's just a way of like expanding your moat. Like you do want utility outside of like your one thing. And the way to do that is to like, yeah, like make sure that it is composable from day one. And so, yeah, I don't know if this is me being too like idealistic, but I think like composability is the reason to build on crypto rails. Otherwise, don't build on crypto rails at all.
Yeah. Nah, you could be
Really
idealistic. I mean, I think we all need a little optimism to
yeah.
stay in the space like long enough. Like you've been in it for 7 years. I've been in it for 12 years. 12 years, yeah, 13 years actually.
Oh my gosh.
You need a little bit of
What was your
optimism
first
to
Bitcoin? Holy shit, that's a long time.
2013. Yeah.
Were
20.
you just like using crypto or
Yeah.
like okay. Shit.
Yeah. Not for like a lot. Like I was I think most people know I was buying like illicit stuff.
Yeah. Oh my
Because
god.
I mean that was like the only thing you could really buy back
Right.
then anyways. There wasn't like.
Wow. And then what was, sorry, I'm very curious. What was your progression from that to like getting deeper into it?
Yeah, my progression was mostly, obviously I wanted to buy some drugs for graduation for college. Um to be frank. And then I remember just being super like weirded out by the whole situation. So someone gave me a paper wallet. I gave him real money
Oh my
and I
god.
met him at school and I was like and then I used a paper wallet and then I paid someone over the internet. Then they sent me stuff. And then I was like, and then I was kind of reflecting after, I had a great, so, graduation celebration, woke up like the next day and I was like, what just like transpired? Like, I have no idea like what I just did, but I just followed some instructions that some guy from my college told me to do. And because I didn't
Oh
know back
wow.
then.
Okay,
And
so
then,
you weren't like getting instructions from a stranger on the internet. Like you had a someone.
yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah.
yeah. And then I was just like, but what is this? I was like, what's Bitcoin? What's all that? And then I found out that, so then I graduated, I moved back to the Bay Area. And I was like, okay, I found Bitcoin. I read up what Bitcoin was. I read the white paper, and I
Oh,
was like, this is super sick. I was
okay.
like, how are people not like going crazy over this? And then I found out that some farmers in Marin County were using it for
What?
unpasteurized milk. Yeah,
Oh,
I
like
also
illicit unpasteurized. Oh my god.
I didn't know unpasteurized milk was also illegal. I'm like from a ranch in Guatemala, so I was like, it's illegal to buy unpasteurized milk. Like I even asked my dad. I was like, "Did you know it's illegal?" He's like, "No." Like,
Oh my god. Oh, that's so interesting. Huh.
yeah. So
So
they were
Marin farmers were using Bitcoin to buy
trans to
and
transact on unpasteurized milk. Yep. So I started seeing it more. You know, it's like one of those things. Like, you know, when you like want a car or you want something, you start seeing it everywhere. So I was
yeah,
like,
of
oh,
course.
I was like, they're using it over there, and then I was like, oh, and the people are doing online gambling. Oh crap, like they're using it too. I was like, so I started seeing it
Wow.
everywhere, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. I actually bought a cup of coffee in San Francisco in 2015 on mainnet Bitcoin.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Who accepted Bitcoin then?
there was a coffee shop. I don't, and I think it might have been for an event. Maybe that's why they were picking it up, like why they were like using it. And the mantra back then was like spend your Bitcoin, like make it
Yeah,
like
right. Give it to
increase the utilization of
yeah,
it. So go
yeah. Uh-huh.
spend it. And so I was buying a bunch of stuff
Wow.
with it. But I
Wait,
remember
yeah,
they made
oh
me
my
wait to
god.
the side. They were like, okay, you gotta wait like 20 minutes off to the side while like the transaction clears.
Goes through. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's been a wild
Holy
ride.
shit.
So you need a little bit of that optimism, you know, to continue in this space, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
There's so much doomerism in at least like in private conversations I'm having with friends and stuff. Like everybody's like, "Oh, it's over. Like I'm going to AI," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like, um,
what do
thing
you
is,
think are like, go ahead.
the thing is like when I hear about AI, like certainly it seems it's very interesting. I'm a daily user, like I'm a DAU of AI, but to me, like I like it more. I don't know. I'm obviously in crypto, so standing from the outside, like to work on it is one thing, but I just think it's a really fun tool to use and like be creative with. And so that
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that. And so when I hear people have careers in AI, like that's obviously very exciting and impressive. But to me, I just really enjoy being creative with it and it's fun. It's just like it's just so much fun.
Yeah, you could jam out on it.
Yeah, it's so addicting.
I'm like the guy in charge of implementing AI for the legal team at my company, and uh it's super fun. I have a lot of fun doing it. Like, so I've built 7 AI agents for my group.
Oh my
And
god.
so I finally decided, I was like, hey, like I'm like I made a joke, and essentially they're the Justice League. So I nerded out. I renamed all of them,
That's
gave them all identities, so they're all superheroes, and
that's
they all have logos now.
wait, so does this plug into Slack or what?
Yeah, it plugs into like
Okay,
a lot of stuff internally.
cool.
So yeah,
That's just it's so much
I gave
fun.
him all superpowers, and I'm like, this is the fun part.
It's so much fun. It
Yeah.
what's interesting is every man in my life is freaking like yeah, every like guy friend or yeah, just every guy that I know is freaking out about their role in the world post AGI. Every woman is not at all.
Yeah.
And
I think
it's such an maybe there are women that are freaking out about post AGI and what they do, but in my circles, this has been the case, and I find it a very interesting breakdown.
yeah. I mean, I think part of it has to be, I mean, if you think about it, like probably a large block of developers are men. Um, like, not to
100%.
be like generalist or sexist, but probably a large block of them are. A large block of them are probably reading the same type of content, or they visit the same type of websites.
That's
And
what
there's
I
a
was thinking. Like people are probably consuming the same kind of media, and maybe
yeah. Yeah, and if all your friends are in San Francisco too, you know, if they're all in tech in San Francisco, then you know we're all probably very similar across. Like, we're probably all into mechanical keyboards for the most part, or something. You know, like
okay, I'm not.
yeah,
I just yeah, but I do enjoy the like videos of people trying out different ones.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, you know, like
But
there
yeah,
tends to be probably some level of like Venn
yeah,
diagram of overlap and stuff like that. You know, I don't know, like based on like talking to you, like you can quickly identify like what pattern or what rabbit holes people are in. So are you like in the
yeah.
seed oils? Is that what you see
Um,
a lot of?
no, no, but I do have a lot of friends that are into seed oils. What rabbit? Oh, that's a good question. What rabbit holes am I?
You could say anything, and I could probably start trying to figure it out. It's so funny because I
Yeah, can
hear
you pattern
it.
match? Oh, I am like the longevity. Like I was definitely very butthurt
Yes.
about Peter Attia being in like the Epstein files. Like that hurt for sure. Yeah. Yeah. What else? I don't know what else. Maybe if you have any guesses.
There's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Seed
Most
oils,
of
I know I see
the
women
time.
get that one a lot. What's the other one? Like Korean skincare beauty products. I know that's like a
Oh,
pretty
maybe I follow it, but I'm not like so obsessed that I need to like purchase all of the different kinds. But
yeah.
yeah, high level. If you named a few brands to me, I'd probably know what they are.
yeah.
Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how like we get not pigeonholed, but like, like you could tell like what things we're all seeing. So like it's the same thing with my wife and myself. So it's funny to hear you say that because like even with my wife, like I'm like, oh, you got to read this article. It's freaking nuts about like how AI is like gonna fuck us all, and then she's like,
It's like,
I
eh.
have none of that in my feed. Like none of it is showing up, and I'm like, yeah,
Right.
it's
Everybody's
just
so control. But you know what's interesting about X these days? It's a little bit more long form article driven. And so I've been enjoying that. I do think they're trying to compete with Substack a little bit more.
probably yeah. Substack made like a really nice. They
Yeah.
made a nice little pie for themselves, and
Love
they're
Substack.
doing well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Substack's
I,
great.
I spent more time on Substack last year on my phone versus like TikTok or I'm not on TikTok, but like Instagram Reels.
That's good. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's quite entertaining. I've been enjoying my Substack scrolling.
Yeah, going back to Para. I'm kind of curious. Again, you don't feel pressure to answer or not, but like, what do you think the lever is for you guys, like for growth? Like,
Yeah.
is it because like earlier it kind of sounded like maybe the quality of like the brands that you're onboarding or partnering with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Do you think it's like, is it that, or I know you mentioned like at some point you like wallets maybe start thinking that the users of the companies that they're partnering with, maybe that's their users, and so it's like,
Yeah.
is it like, do you go full Uniswap, like spend a
You're
ton of marketing to like acquire a bunch more users? Like, yeah, I'm just kind of curious like what your take is.
Yeah.
Obviously, like for anyone listening, it's not like no one's gonna hold you to it. I'm not an
Yeah,
investor or
is this
anything.
live?
Yeah, yeah. So no, it's not live. You're good.
Oh, okay. Wait, so wait, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm actually curious how it's distributed. But anyway, um that's cool. Yeah, so our lever is right now like our whole bet is the deeper we get like kind of wedged into payment flows, the more exciting that becomes for Para's business. So the deeper we are entrenched in like a payment use case, whether that's um, being the wallet provider for like a remittance app or being leveraged in agentic commerce, all of that gets us closer to the actual orchestration of a transaction, which is a very interesting place for us to play in, because now not only are we just doing like identity and user stuff, we're also wedged right in the middle of value movement. And so it just gives us more of a way to not only deepen how we're doing money movement, but also like I think there's also optionality in like how we monetize. And like it just gets us closer to like where money is actually moving. And so something that gets exciting here is like if someone is using Para for like weekend settlements, where like instead of going from, if I had to transact from USD to Euro with Swift, that's local bank to correspondent bank to kind of all this network of banks, and that takes 3 to 5 business days. With something like a stablecoin sandwich setup, if I'm trying to go from Euro to USD or vice versa, all I do is I on and off ramp in the middle where I go from USDC on chain, on ramping from USD to USDC. Then I off ramp from USDC to Euro, and that's it. And that's kind of the setup. And so anywhere that we can plug in where like we're kind of that piece in the key value chain is
Hmm.
really exciting, because now we're moving from like we're moving away from like UI, so like a component where you have the paramodal and you're authenticating, to like bare metal, which I think is very exciting for us, because
Yeah, yeah.
the more lower level we can get, the more like we can work with some of these like exciting kind of payments companies that we're having chats with. And so a lot of the business before looked really UI centric, and now it just looks a little bit more low level, which is exciting.
That's great. Yeah, because
Yeah,
like you feel like you're at a stable enough place UI wise where things make sense and it's easier for the user, and now you're just trying to get closer to the money essentially where the movement is of it.
exactly. And that's like the UI game is like a plug and chug business. Like someone could effectively integrate Para right now in under 5 minutes. And like we had someone on board, they're building a habit tracker app. And they onboarded and they got everything running in like an hour, I think, or something. It's
Mm.
something very, very minimal. And yeah, and we reached out, they had the integrated modal, it was all good to go. So like the UI business, and I think slapping Para into an app is kind of in like self-serve land, and like that's just pretty much plug and chug. But we launched like a REST API where you can like headlessly create wallets. So like let's say a business has like 2 million users with normal accounts, you can just generate wallets for all those users without them having to touch any sort of UI or go through any sort of
Like
onboard
flow or anything. Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So it's just moving to more of like a back end driven, like lower level
Yeah.
system, which is
Yeah.
exciting.
How do you feel about like speaking of kind of like movement of money and stuff like that? And I know you mentioned remittances. I like remittances too because like I have to
Yeah.
send money to like my dad and I have
Yeah. What do
family
you
like
use?
abroad. Dude, it's freaking pain in the butt is what it is. I'm like some days I'm like I think I just need to be like the person that's just dedicated to moving money from the US, like the water ball in diaspora. I was like I'll just niche down to the
Oh, just
water ball in
Watermark.
diaspora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use Wise? What's the preferred app?
Some people use Wise. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Zoom is the other one too. That's like a lot of people use Zoom, the PayPal company. They got acquired like a long time ago.
Ah,
But
okay.
Wise is pretty good. But yeah, and then obviously Western Union, which is
Yeah.
completely
Zoom.
awful.
Yep.
But it's just like bad, like they all charge so much money and the
Yeah.
timing's not too bad. I can like send money today and it can get there like within the end of the day, which is not bad.
Right.
Uh, but I know some places it's like longer. Uh,
Mm,
Banking in general, like closed on weekends doesn't make sense. But I was gonna ask you about as like stock comes more on chain, like we're seeing
yeah.
more
Tokenization. Uh-huh.
tokenization of stocks and stuff like that. Like, uh, yeah, I just kind of want to get your takes on that. Like
Yeah,
since
dude.
you're doing wallet infrastructure, like what do you see? I'm assuming you can see yourself like even someone plugging in with Para and being like movement of stocks.
People do it. We have teams that are doing like tokenized like art on chain and like RWAs.
Mm,
I mean, I'm cool with it. All of that works with Para. I don't have an opinion on like the tokenized like equity market. Like Coinbase now has the ability to buy, like you can now buy equities on chain via Coinbase. I just maybe I'm thinking about it from as like myself as a user. I just don't know what I don't know about all those equities, and so I'm kind of like I don't feel the most compelled to purchase it. But certainly, like we have customers that do tokenized RWAs, and I think that's a fine path. I as a user have not bought anything on chain, like as far as stock goes. I don't know. Have you?
I bought a couple.
What do you trade it after? Like, what's the value?
I mean, everything is kind of like a value accrual kind of thing.
Okay.
Like it's like a if you're depending how you buy, obviously. I view it as kind of like almost like a mini savings account. And I know like the volatility of the stock market, like
Yeah.
is the stock market, but I also feel like the dollar itself is also pretty volatile in terms of like its purchasing power. So I'm like, Yeah, once I start having too much cash, I'm like, I'd rather have more Tesla stock than rather than just USDC
Oh,
sitting.
but why are you buying Tesla stock that's tokenized versus, so I get the tokenized use case for companies that are not public yet. I understand
Yes,
that. I don't understand buying tokenized Tesla stock versus buying like regular Tesla stock.
correct. So the
That
way
I'm
that I
that
the
I
way
don't.
yeah, no, it's a great. I think about it a lot. I'm like, are we just building, like, are we creating a problem of a thing that isn't a problem right now?
Right.
Um and I do think so. The way that I wrap my head around it is the market's closed, you know, and we have this concept of after hours with stock, which is weird. So like I think what it helps, how it helps the end user overall is that we can reach price equilibrium faster. So
This is in the case of tokenized Tesla stock versus not. Okay.
because if you think about it, like when the market closes, they'll be like, hey, after market, Tesla went up $10 or it went down $10. But like it just says that, and it could just be like volume's low. So maybe it actually didn't go up. So, but if
Okay.
it's
So
on
price.
chain and people are actually moving the money and there is no downtime, essentially, like there is no like, oh, it's Friday night at midnight and I'm drinking beer and the stock market's closed. It's like, no, like I can
But
sell this today, right now.
is that like, is it assumed that like price discovery on an on-chain asset will impact price discovery on the off-chain asset?
No, I mean, yeah, that's correct. Like, I mean, we've even seen some of the tokenized stock that exists now. It even failed in that regard in terms of like
Oh,
the price of gold was 5,000, but the tokenized version went down 4,500. And I was like, wait, did token like I was like, did gold drop $500? And then the answer was no. It was actually the tokenized version dropped $500. Gold was still $5,000. And I was like, that's confusing. Because like if you had the on-chain version, you're like,
yeah,
did
like,
it
oh, gold,
did it drop? Am I selling?
right.
Like what are
So
we doing?
that's what I don't get. I and maybe this is just my ignorance and not having played around with all of this, not that, like, not having done that much, but um yeah, I people are building a lot with RWAs. It's just, as a consumer, I don't, there's some
Yeah,
parts
I
of
I
it that
think
I
we're kind
don't.
of discovering what it is. Obviously, like it's still like everyone's still coming online on the tokenized stock
Right.
world for the most part. So I think we will see it. I think at some point we will see it being a leading indicator. So like if the price of it is dropping and the volume is high enough on chain, then I hypothetically, it's like a prediction market. You could be like, okay, then Monday morning Tesla is going to look bad because something happened Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Right.
on the with the on chain folks, and it's
Right.
going to be hard to like dig out of that momentum.
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
know. So like use it as a signal. That's how I think of prediction markets,
Yeah.
anyways. It's like it's just a signal.
Yeah. That's a cool
So,
one.
but yeah,
Uh,
no, I think you're right. Like,
next topic to discuss at Parasocial 2. We are trying to post it soon, so I'll shoot that over to you.
yeah, let me know. Yeah, I think we could talk about it. Let's see. I've had you for an hour. Are you still good to go a little bit, like little bit longer?
I
Or do you have to hi hat pop?
I have a slight hard stop, but yes. Do you feel like we got most of the topics in? Also, like, this is casual, so
No, you're good. Yeah, no, I liked it actually. I think after like Dev Connect, I'm like, I was tired. It was a
yeah,
long
of
week.
course. And it's a lot of work, especially after your day job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah. Um, no, I think we got through it. I like the casualness of it. I
Yeah.
think it
So what
makes
do
it
you do
good.
with the snippets? Do you put them, like, do you